Hey guys, what's up? Zach here doing a deck tech for my Golgari Self-Mill Graveyard deck. This is for standard post Warren of the Gods. So here is the deck tech. We'll start off with my creatures. For 1-drops we have a playset of Elvish Mystics. It's always good if you're running green to usually play Elvish Mystics. It's just a 1-drop and you can tap it for 1 green mana. Good 1-drop, and I play a playset. For another 1-drop I play Deathrite Shaman. This card is really powerful. It is very fun to play, and I've gotten to opponents down to 2 with only 2 Deathrite Shamans on the battlefield. Its abilities is you exile target land card from your graveyard. You can add 1 mana to your mana pool. That's by tapping it. If you pay 1 black and tap it, you exile a target instant or sorcery card from a graveyard. That could be yours or your opponent's. Each opponent loses 2 life. And then you could pay 1 green to tap it and exile target creature card from a graveyard, and you gain 2 life, both sides. And it's a fun card to play. You run a 4 of it. If you have a hand of Elvish Mystic and Deathrite Shaman, sometimes I would prefer to play Deathrite Shaman over an Elvish Mystic, but it's always a smart idea to play Elvish Mystic just so by turn 2 you can get a 3 mana and start focusing on other creatures or bringing out Deathrite and our 3-drops. Or something fun. So for 2-drops we have Satyr Wayfinder. We have 3 of them. Yes, Satyr Wayfinder is getting played in this deck. It is not a great common from Warren of the Gods. It probably won't see play in any other deck but this. But as this deck, our goal is to get as many creature cards in our graveyard to make 4 different types of creatures huge in early game. Satyr Wayfinder is a great example. When it enters the battlefield, reveal top 4 cards from your library. You can put a land card from them into your hand and put the rest into your graveyard. If you're having some mana issues, this is a good way to search for land too. Plus, we got to get those creatures in the graveyard. And we're running 3 of them. In our 3-drops, we have Nighthowler's amazing creature card for mill and self-mill because it gets +X+X, where X is the number of creature cards in all graveyards, so that's both graveyards. This card's very fun to play. It is a 3-drop, but you mostly, if you are having issues or you just want to, we bestow. Bestow is a great mechanic introduced in Theros, which is 2 colorless and 2 black manas on this one, and you cast it as an enchantment, and the creature that it's been enchanted, it dies, it comes back as this comes back as a creature. So when we bestow it, we're guaranteed a pump to our guy, but once we lose that guy, we're guaranteed a creature. So Nighthowler is pretty fun. So it's Supreme Verdict, all of our creatures away. We still get a Nighthowler that could be a bigger creature because you just got rid of some. And he's always powerful. For our 4-drops, we got Jarad, Golgari Guildgate. This card, man, he is so much fun to play. We're playing him in FMMs. I've gotten into 16/16s, and he is a danger to the only reason my opponent was able to hold on for a little bit longer with this dude out was because he had a Soldier of Pantheon. But Jarad gets +1/+1 for each creature card in your graveyard, so it's almost like a Nighthowler. He's already 2/2, but this is the point: is you have to get those creatures in your graveyard, and you can pay 1 colorless, 1 black, 1 green, and sacrifice another creature. Each opponent loses life equal to sacrificed creature's power. It's a great card, and you can sacrifice a swamp and a forest, return Jarad from your graveyard to your hand. So there's always an option where you're milling yourself and you're like, okay, I have a Nemesis of Mortals or a Deathrite Shaman, but I have a Jarad. You could always put that Jarad in the graveyard and wait till you can be able to sacrifice them and bring it back. Or if a guy kills him, you can bring him back. For 5-drop, we have 2 Shadowborn Demons. This guy is fun to play. It's a 5/6 for 5, and flying. When it enters the battlefield, destroy target non-demon creature. So it does not take out Desecration Demon, but you can deal with a lot of creatures. Burmaz, Atheling. You can deal with creatures, and it helps. And at the beginning of your upkeep, if there are fewer than 6 creature cards in your graveyard, sacrifice a creature. So it's also a good way to wipe the board of your 1-drops, like Satyr Wayfinder, who's useless at this point. Once you play him, he's not going to be much played. So as just a easy block with a 1/1. So it's a good way to start sacrificing until you get that 6 if you're not there by turn 5. But by turn 5, we should already have a lot of creatures. Now for 6 drops, we have 4 Nemesis of Mortals. Nemesis of Mortals is a 6 drop, but there is chances you're going to get him out by turn 3. Nemesis of Mortals costs 1 less of colorless mana to cast for each creature card in our graveyard. So if we get our hand right and we're play Satyr Wayfinder, or it's just cards where we can get creatures in our graveyard, by turn 3-4 we could have a 5/5 already out there, and it could be lucky enough its monstrosity is 5, which gives it 5/1/1 counters, costs us 1 less for each creature card. So if you're able to get all creatures and you're losing a bunch of creatures, Nemesis Mortals can come out early game, and then your opponent has to worry, okay, now I'm dealing with a 5/5 early game. So that's why we play it. And once again, this is a card that you probably won't see a lot of play except for this deck alone. Now for spells, artifacts, and enchantments, we have a playset of Grisly Salvage. Grisly Salvage is a way for us to find and get rid of those creatures. It reveals top 5 cards of your library. You can put a creature card or a land card from among them into your hand. So, and put the rest in the graveyard. This is a good way to find our creatures and get them into that graveyard to bring out early game big dudes. So we have that as a format to mill ourselves. We have Commune of the Gods, which is reveal top 5 cards of your library. You put a creature card or an enchantment from among them into your hand. Put the rest into your graveyard. So you could either get a Nighthowler out of this if you see one. Anyway, because Nighthowler is also an enchantment technically, and same thing getting that whip in. So it's a good way to find the cards too. It's another way for mill. We have 2 ultimate prizes. Destroyed monocolored creature. In Theros block with all this going on, there's a lot of mono decks. You have mono blue, mono black, and there's a lot of just single colored creatures to deal with. In Gruul monsters, you have to deal with Stormbreath and Poricanos. So, ultimate price can deal with those guys. We have 2 Abrupt Decays. Control is a huge thing right now in Standard, and to have a solution to Detention Theory is very helpful. To have that, it cannot be countered by spells or abilities, and destroy target non-land permanent with converted mana cost 3 or less. So, Detention Theory being 1 colorless, 1 blue, 1 white, this deals with it, and you can't be countered by them. So they say, hey, I'm gonna Detention Theory your Nemesis of Mortals or your Jarad or your Nighthowler. We're going to say, hey, guess what? Abrupt Decay, we want it back. Then we have 2 Golgari Charms. Once again, this is a good way to deal with cards like Detention Theory. Just enchantments, because it's choose 1, all creatures get -1/-1, which you probably won't play that as much unless you're dealing with mana rampers, but I don't see that's the one we won't play. But it's either destroy target enchantment or regenerate creature you control. So this is a good card where Supreme Verdict comes out, you'd be like, okay, I'm going to regenerate my Jarad, or I'm going to regenerate my Nighthowler, I'm going to regenerate something. Or they bring out Assemble the Legion or something really annoying, like I'm going to destroy that enchantment. Then we play 2 Hero's Downfalls. Hero's Downfall is very neat if you're having any black. It is that and Erebos are some of the getting that 2 black is hard to get, especially with some of our cards, but it shouldn't be because we're running the most. But Hero's Downfall isn't a fun card to play because you just say, hey, your Planeswalker, bam, it's just a good card. Then we have the Whip. This card has saved me so much in Standard where I'm down to 5. I have some big creatures. I play the Whip and I start gaining my life back. Also, another solution is you just whip in creatures you want. Say you want to bring out Nighthowler and you have all these creature cards. Do it. You lose some on some other big guys. But I have had a 16/16 Jarad, like I've mentioned before, and I needed to deal. I was not getting any of my removals, and I couldn't get Hero's Downfall or Ultimate Price, so I could not deal with that Soldier of Pantheon. Whipped in a Shadowborn Demon, destroyed that Soldier of the Pantheon. Now my Jarad's clear to go through and start and finish him off. That's how it's played, and it's just really a lot of spells to get rid of my creature cards and put them in my graveyard, and we can start playing big dudes. Now for lands. This deck has 8 swamps and 6 forests, so there are good even numbers to finding the color you need. We run 4 Overgrown Tombs and 1 Golgari Guildgate. For that, Overgrown Tomb is you either pay, it comes in tapped, or you pay 2 life for a green or black land. Golgari Guildgate is the same way. You either tap, it comes in tap, and you add a green or black mana to your mana pool. So it's a good card. Until we get the Skyline from Journey into Nyx, we're going to have a Guildgate in this deck. Guildgates aren't that good, and they can slow you down. But I'm okay with it. It's just a difference of the Scry. But once we get the Scry, I could definitely start replacing the Guildgate. So that is the land drops. For the sideboard, I run 2 Pithing Needles, which is a good way to deal with control decks, Planeswalkers and Atheling. Just shut down their abilities and make them a normal thing. I run 2 Mistcutter Hydras. Protection from blue can't be countered, and you can add X11 counters to it. Good matchup against blue and control, because control cannot detention fear it. And it's just like, guess what? I'm protected from it. But blue's like, hey, you played out against a blue deck, come on a blue, you're going to be like, guess what? Now you have to deal with my Mistcutter Hydra. Put all your mana to it. It's turn, throw a bestow Nighthowler onto it. Bring it. 2 more Abrupt Decays, once again, to deal with those detention fear, deal with some low-cost creatures. You got 2 Drown in Filth. Most of the Golgari self-mill graveyards don't place, but I found it, yeah, I did good with it, because you, it's another way to mill yourself by putting the top 4 cards of your library into your graveyard. Then, a creature gets -1/-1 until the end turn for each land card in your graveyard. You will get lands, and it's a good way for Deathrite Shaman to also get those lands to make more for you. Drown in Filth, just get rid of a creature by practically having your lands in your graveyard. Another Golgari Charm, once again, destroy those enchantments or regenerate. Unravel the Aethers, once again, to deal with enchantments or artifacts. Reaper of the Wilds, I threw this in here too because it's a good black-green card. It's just whenever a creature dies, scry 1. Which we kind of want our little 1/1 Satyr Wayfinders to die, and it helps us scry. Plus, you give it gains Death Touch until the end turn, and if you pay 1 black, and if you pay 1 of any color and 1 green, it becomes hexproof, so it's a good card. And then 2 Heroes Downfalls, once again, destroy, just more removal. That's the sideboard. That's it for this deck tech, guys. If you have any suggestions or recommendations, please put in the comments down below. And yeah, if you guys liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more videos, and click that button for more magic content from me. And thanks for watching, and bye.